Okay, we're here with Scott Eastman. He's the Executive Director, CEO of Siskiyou Family YMCA. And I myself, you guys who watch my channel know that I've been a single parent. And if I had known when my son was growing up at all his developmental stages that the YMCA, if I had known about it, I would have been here with my son, because what I've been learning is that they're huge when it comes to community and family support and health and all that. But I'm going to let Scott tell you what he does and what they do here for the community, and then along the way I might ask him a little questions about how this applies to help, making a difference in the direction youth will go, depending on what they're exposed to, people, where they put their energies. So, okay, Scott, could you please tell me?
Yeah, so, Casual Friday.
Yes.
So, a little bit of background. I have worked here at the Siskiyou County YMCA since 1999. Began as a program director and kind of worked my way up through the system, and then became the CEO, executive director in 2010, so I've been in the role of that since. Also on the side, I've coached women's volleyball for nearly 30 years, so I've been very involved with youth programming and just kind of community service elements for a big chunk of my life. Also, too, I was born and raised here in Eureka. I never thought I'd, come back, but went to college, got married, ended up coming back here and raising my family. So a little bit of the background in terms of my context and where I'm coming from. So the YMCA, what it does nationally, we're known for several things, but we're one of the largest youth service organizations in the world. Started off as, the history of the YMCA is very interesting. Started off in the 1840s over in England, and it was started by a young gentleman by the name of George Williams, and what it was essentially like youth groups. Some of you have probably heard Young Life, or some of the Christian-based outreach programs for kids. And George basically saw a need in downtown London. There were a lot of kids that were growing up without dads. They were just kind of they call them street rats, and they're kind of creating problems. And so George got some other young men that he knew, kind of his good friends, and they started essentially a youth group. And within, I think, 10 years of that, movement spread to like 14 countries within the first 15 years of the Y's existence. And so pretty amazing how much it spread. It was a very simple concept, and that was it was built on a pyramid. We have spirit, mind, and body. And all of the programming is based off of Christian principles put into practice, and it's really loving on people. That's really it. So what does that look like in a community? It takes a whole bunch of different shapes and forms along the way. And so the YMCA has moved on from being a young men's Christian association to obviously being something that is accepting to everyone in every walk of life. And we've got pre-K here all the way through seniors, active older adults. I think our oldest member is currently 97, and he comes 4 days a week. So
4 days a week at 90. Oh my God, that's awesome! You guys have some great programs here.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, and how YMCA's have kind of thrived over the years, is they've been gap fillers. And so when a community sees a need, the YMCA is able to kind of step into it. And so sometimes that takes the form of providing swimming lessons. Ys are known for pools, but we don't have a pool.
But you got a great track out there.
Yeah.
I love that track.
Yeah, we got a great track, right? So, the track and the community having access to that track, don't have to be a Y member to be able to use it.
It's awesome, safe, great place to train my dog.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's a perfect example of a gap filler, right? So there's a need in the community. The YMCA has something in sight for folks. So.
And the homeless come here for showers and stuff. I know you guys used to have vouchers, but but I do know that you're tremendous support on all levels, like you said, feeling the gap.
Yeah, we work with. There's about 40 partner organizations within the county that we work with and have either formal MOUs, memorandums of understanding, guess that's the local school districts, high schools, churches, whereby we can use their facilities free of charge. We can use our facilities free of charge. So.
But you have a form for the less people who don't have the money.
Yep.
So it really does cover.
Yeah.
A wide spectrum.
Yeah, so since the YMCA has been here in Siskiyou County, we have never turned anyone away from an ability to pay. So they do have to go through a process of financial assistance, but that, we found a way to get folks in. So that's, one of the larger, perceived barriers that really doesn't exist. You just have to kind of take the time, go through the process, but the community raises nearly $170,000 every year from this community to support, that mission.
Oh, so does that go towards supporting the less fortunate, or improvements, or changes?
Where does the money
all
go?
of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have roughly $50,000 annually that goes out towards supporting financial assistance for programming and for membership.
That's pretty good in a small town. Big county, but small town.
Big county, small town. We have about 2,100 individual members currently. I believe a little over 30% of our members are on some level of financial assistance. So, yeah. So that's the thing. That's one of the misconceptions a lot of people have. They see the YMCA and they think we're like some federally funded organization. That's just not true.
No, it's each community.
Yeah, each community supports each YMCA.
Each Y is a little different, but man, the community support at each one of them is huge.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right.
So one thing I noticed, and I would like you to continue with whatever you think is important and pertinent, but when I talk to the people who work here, a lot of them were here as children, and they're still here. There's such a strong familiar thing, family and community, but they're also very smart. I wasn't going to mention Mickey in particular because I'm really partial to her. Rose is awesome too. But very knowledgeable young lady, very aware of the developmental stages, and she's always paying attention. You've got a great staff.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And it is with some design that we work to attract folks who have been here. And it's not a disclaimer, someone from an outside community can come in and hold a job here. We certainly have those. But, one of the things that we found with the sustainability keeping staff is this necessity that we cannot pay people what they're worth, and that's the reality of almost every nonprofit organization out there. Why is that number one? So the work has got to be a passion. It's got to be a calling.
They really care.
They really care, and it's got to be something that goes beyond the paycheck. So we do what we can to help compensate folks based off of our means and what we have available. But we have found that the vast majority of folks that are willing to make that sacrifice are people that originally came from the community, and so they understand kind of what they're fighting for, and what they're willing to play in terms of a role for the community. So
they're invested in it. Emotionally, spirit. What did you say? The three things: mind, body, spirit.
Mind, body, and spirit. Yeah.
Yes, and that too kind of it applies.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so what would you say is the most applicable? How does this affect at-risk youth?
Well, at-risk youth, what we know is that it is a complex formula that creates situations that are deemed at risk. And some of it is, based on inherent factors that they may or may not be able to control. And so what we try to provide is a safe space. And it's that simple as much as anything, is for folks to come in, they feel less stress. They feel like they're a part of the community, and that extends all the way to kids. Kids understand that stress, and a lot of people are probably aware of something called ACEs, or Adverse Childhood Experience Scores. Okay, and so it's a study that was based off of evaluating folks that were mostly college educated. These were people through the Kaiser system down in the Bay Area. And as they tabulated the information anonymously, they were able to identify that folks that had a higher ACEs score had a much higher risk of, adverse health risks later in life. They had
joining gangs.
Yeah, all sorts of things.
Does that
drugs, alcohol use, work productivity,
crime,
but
health issues as well.
Yeah, health, absolutely.
Mental and physical.
Mental and physical.
And spiritual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the ACEs, study is kind of a game changer.
Is it a test that they take? Okay.
Yeah, it's an evaluation tool that basically says, they'll get a score if they have, and if there's a divorce in the family, you get a check. And so you work your way up through it. It's 100 different things.
Oh, it is complex. Very,
yeah. It's very widespread, and I'm just using that as an excuse.
It's you blanket, kind of a blanket questions.
Yep.
That
kind of large.
That break it down, generalize it into, well, this does appear to be an at-risk youth.
Yeah. Well, what it does is, what it shows is that with the higher the ACEs score, the higher likelihood that you're going to have at-risk youth, and you're going to have elongated health issues.
Okay.
And so, to all that said, what the Y's role in that is, where does the where does the YMCA play a role in the resiliency and support of individuals that may come from a background that's either highly privileged, and you've had a little hardship, and then you have others that are coming from a different background, and there needs to be kind of a through line and a constant in that. And so how that shapes up and what that takes a look like is, you have programs that are consistent with supporting kids at all ages. So once again, they come in and there's no feeling like this is my background or this is where I come from. It's money, not money, whatever. Like none of that really matters.
Oh, it puts them on. Okay, so they can look at each other and just connect.
Yeah. And that's what we try to do, and that's what we strive to do here for members too. Like when you come into the facility, that's why we have financial assistance that allows anybody to come into the Y, and so you have folks that walk in here that are millionaires, honestly, and you have folks that have nothing. And so how do those two sides connect and coexist? Well, you never hear that discussed here. Like when you come in, you don't feel that.
It's such a good vibe always here. Very positive, healing.
I think you'll see that on YMCA's. Most YMCA's have that notion.
Yeah.
And it's so that's it. The Y plays a role in supporting at-risk youth by creating safe spaces and creating a program that helps development in a safe way, so that they are able to disconnect maybe from some of the trauma that they've had in the past, or some of the fears that they may have, or insecurities. We try to do what we can that folks feel connected and supported. Okay.
But and then you say through that, being able to disconnect from that, also making connections with people. They can see that example. They can kind of, without it being discussed, they can feel it out, and it kind of opens their horizons, right? That kind of connective balance.
Right.
So you start preschool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pre-K. You're working. Some of our programs have like that, mommy and me type of elements, and you've got kids all the way down to 12 months old, 9 months old, child watch. Here we have kids that are dropped off that are 18 months old, 24 months old, and so we assist in the separation anxiety that kids have with their parents, right? So you've got a mom or a dad that needs to have health as a primary element in their own lives. They need to have some self-care. And so having, kind of a connected staff that can watch your child and assist and work through the tears and everything else that's associated with kids when they're young, right?
And mom can relax knowing they're in good hands.
Yes, mom can relax knowing they're in good hands. And, once again, that's the child watch worker's role, is not just to watch children, but to understand they're part of that process and the importance that plays for adults seeking help, as well. So.
Mental health, and
physical.
So would you say you and your staff, do they ever, if they see an issue that points towards maybe a problem at home, are they obligated to report it, or do you try to intervene first? How does that work?
So the YMCA staff and all YMCA volunteers are mandated reporters. And so,
okay.
So and to be honest,
You have to report it if you see it
100%.
suspected.
100%.
Hands down.
Yeah.
That's clear, no question.
No question.
All of them.
All.
Sweet. So they have to have some level of, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, and you're seeing a real shift in the United States over the last 20 years, and we had the Me Too movement that led into disclosures of, child sexual abuse and to, all sorts of different sexual violence, sexual assault, all these things that are driven by conversations we weren't willing to have, right, to work on prevention. And so our staff is trained specifically on the prevention of child sexual abuse, child neglect, based off of the identification of red flag behavior, along with best practices that our staff is trying to do. And we are trained on this. It's a condition of employment, and they're annually trained on this.
Annually?
Yeah, and the board, as a condition of employment, they have to go not only through the insurance requirements, but we work through a group called Darkness to Light, which is a nationally renowned organization that deals specifically with child sexual abuse and the prevention of it. So, to your point, yes, if we see something, we have to report it.
And you're trained to see
they're trained to see
the
that.
warnings.
Remember, when you, and as a disclaimer to this, we don't have the whole picture, right?
Right.
So staff doesn't know everything that's going on. All staff knows is they see red flag behavior, and what they are doing. The report is not an accusation. I think that's a really important thing for folks to understand.
Of course, don't take it out on the employees of the Y. They have to do this, and then it's put into the hands of people who actually evaluate the red flags and make the decisions.
Correct, and that's our job.
Right.
Our job is not to cast judgment. Our job is to
support the community, keep an eye on our children.
Yeah, that's right. That's really it. Pretty simple, pretty simple message overall.
Okay. So is there anything else you think we've covered the most important? Anything else we should know, a parting statement?
I think parting statement is I'm extremely proud of the collective effort that our Y has been able to do in this community, continues to do. And, for a new YMCA to come into an area, there has to be a base population of 25,000 people. And so for the Y to exist, and not only exist, but to thrive in the community, where the service area is likely somewhere between 11 and 12,000, is a pretty remarkable statement to the generosity of the community and the commitment from all of our partners.
Plus here people, plus people here come from outskirts too, and benefit from, especially this one. We've got people from long distance, all the way down river and stuff, that come here and benefit off the community support and efforts.
Yep, that's correct. So, just really proud of that collective effort. We have a lot of partners. It's not just us. We have, like I said, I think we have over 42. We have 42, I think, last year, specific partners that work with us, and we have regular dialogue and communication on our efforts to make the community a little safer and a little better place. So,
I know it's been very helpful for me, and I'm not going to say exactly what you've done for me in the past, but you have been very helpful for me too. I can testify to that. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Right.
Do you mind if I post this on YouTube?
Sure.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Yeah.